One thing I was wondering is tourism an emerging industry in Newfoundland and Labrador, and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it really is. Newfoundland and Labrador has, we have beautiful summers, and we have lots of snow in the wintertime. Traditionally, we've focused on the summertime as being our tourism time of the year. We have great camping, we have fishing, whale watching, for instance, ecotourism. And what normally happens is we have like 3 months of tourism season, and then it shuts down primarily for the rest of the year. We focused a lot more now on the fall of the year, when it's essentially a hunting season, and now the winter. And we have a huge ski resort on the west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador. The name is Marble Mountain. We have a huge resort of chalets that is called Humber Valley Resorts. Primarily Europeans are coming over and they're buying up this property. And it's a great opportunity for people to own a piece of Newfoundland and Labrador if you look at Humber Valley Resorts. So yeah, tourism is a big priority of ours. We've put a lot of money into our advertising campaigns. I don't know if we're running them down here. I'm not the tourism minister, so I don't know. But I do know that if I'm on a flight and they're running, because we run these ads on all the Air Canada flights and other flights as well. But if I'm sitting on a flight and they put up the ad, honestly, everybody just stops and they look at it, and I know I'm biased, but when I look at that ad, it's like, wow, that is Newfoundland and Labrador, and our numbers have increased. In fact, it's amazing, because with the price of gasoline, excuse me, and the price of travel, our numbers are even up this year as well, this past summer. So we're very pleased with that, but there's so much opportunity, and we need to do a lot more, but we're really focusing on tourism. It was interesting, I talked to a gentleman from Europe the other day, and he was telling me about what happened in New Zealand. And in New Zealand, they were primarily focused on the agricultural industry, and they marketed their agricultural products to Europe. But they felt they really weren't getting the value from that particular product. So they took all of their monies and they focused it primarily and totally, actually, on tourism. And today, that industry in New Zealand is worth $30 billion a year. So it tells us all that if we focus on a particular area within our jurisdiction, and we all have a story to tell. I mean, Georgia has a story to tell. Newfoundland and Labrador has a story to tell. Obviously, New Zealand has a story to tell. Everybody does. If we tell that story with passion, and we show people what we have to offer, they're going to come here and they're going to spend money here.
I recently read an article. It's interesting that you mentioned how big of an industry it is in New Zealand, but I think Georgia's tourism industry is the second largest gainer of income in the state. So it's obviously very important to both of us. Now, how would we as Georgians get to Newfoundland and Labrador?
Well, it's as much as people may think it's a challenge, it's not. You take a flight from here and you would fly to either Toronto or Halifax. In fact, there's a weekly flight to Halifax. And there's flights from Halifax into one of our 4 airports. So we flew here, we were 4 hours from Newfoundland and Labrador to Toronto. And then we were, I think, a couple of hours from Toronto well, actually we flew into Washington, and then flew from Washington here, but we had some meetings in Washington. So it's not like this really long journey. We're close. We really are.
Some people like a journey.
They do, yeah, exactly. I'd like to jump on a flight and get there in an hour, but but really we're not far away, and I think we need to take advantage of that. We really don't need to get on flights that last 12 hours when we can, exchange cultural differences, and I mean that in a positive way, with each other. And there's one thing I've noticed about Georgia, and I've seen it every time wherever I go, and that is the friendly, hospitable people here are amazing. And we take pride in Newfoundland and Labrador as thinking that we are very hospitable and that our people are friendly. And I got to tell you, Georgia is equally as friendly. There's no question in my mind. We've gone to restaurants and the folk that serve us, they want to talk about Georgia. And then when we tell them we're from Canada and Newfoundland and Labrador, they want to know where it is and so on. So this has been a fabulous experience for me. And we want to make sure that we keep coming back here because, when you're fostering business growth, you can't come here once and then disappear. You have to keep coming back, and I would suggest the same thing to firms that want to do business in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's great for us to do the Seuss thing, and I'm all for it, and we really need to, and it's going to be wonderful. But when we do that, we got to start fostering this relationship that we're going to have to start fueling the relationship. And I believe that we're going to see some great things happen between the two jurisdictions, no doubt.